A lot of you have a concept of what retirement will be like. Then you get there and you go, wow, these are things that I did not expect were going to happen. So I'm going to bring those up today. And this is a list from my current clients of which they've given to me and I've crafted with them so that when you retire, you're not wondering, dang, I wish I would have considered that. Is that something I left on the table? So we're going to hop right in, but please know I am Taublieb, a certified financial planner. I'm the host of the Early Retirement Podcast and vice president right here at Root. Now let's hop right in. The first misconception is thinking that the stock market downturns are the biggest risk in your retirement because they can be amazing opportunities. And you're going, well, that doesn't sound like it. Right now, it's not that scary when markets go down because I'm adding new dollars, but it's really scary when I retire and I'm no longer adding dollars. And that's when I tell my clients, oh, yes, you are. And they go, Ari, are you not listening? I want to retire. I go, oh, I'm listening. This is when we get to implement strategic Roth conversions. Think about it like this. If you have Apple stock and you've bought it for $5 and it goes up to $10, and it's in an IRA, when you take that money out, it's ordinary income. It's as if you just made more money. But if you bought Apple stock for $5 and it goes down to $2, so markets take a big hit, and then all of a sudden it grows back to $10 and you convert it at the 2, what happens is from 2 to 10, it's all tax-free. So Roth conversions can be an amazing way to still add new dollars, just not in the traditional sense when markets take a downturn. In addition to that, market downturns are still going to happen in retirement. It's how you plan for them. You don't need to be scared of them. Easy for me to say, right? No, I have clients that are living through this right now. So it's not just me telling you this. I have clients that right now are actually living this lifestyle. When markets go down, I'm not saying everything's rosy. I'm saying, can we temporarily cut back spending and by X amount? And here's why. More often than not, it's a 5, 6, 7% maximum shift to their income, where if they want to spend $100,000 a year, I'm never saying, you know what, no way, it's $80,000 now or $60,000. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, can we temporarily cut it back in the months where markets are taking a downturn? Because most people close their eyes and no matter what happens in the market, they just take income as opposed to working with the market. So have a strategy designed so that even when markets are doing what they're doing, you know what you should change your income strategy to be. At the other hand, when markets are doing well, almost like you becoming your own employer, which is actually what's happening when you retire, I need you to give yourself a bonus. Give yourself a raise. You deserve it. Most people don't because they don't give themselves a bonus because they're just saying, well, it's going to make up for it when markets take a downturn. And it doesn't work that way. You can take income on a dynamic withdrawal basis, assuming you're following the right rules. Number 2 is relying on 2 incomes forever. Meaning if you're working right now, you've got $2 million and you're taking 4% out, just an example, $80,000 every single year, and you have Social Security, and Social Security is helping out at $4,000 a month, call it $2,000 for each spouse. What if one spouse passes? Well, then all of a sudden, in this example, if both spouses are bringing in the same Social Security amount, now we've got a problem. Because at first we had $80,000 coming in, then we had an additional $4,000 a month from Social Security, call it $48,000. Let's just make it simple. Say $130 was coming in the door. Now $130 is not coming in the door. Now all of a sudden it's, hey, there's $24,000 fewer dollars. Let's just make it $106, but call it $100 to make it easy. Well, now all of a sudden we've got one income source that's gone, and your portfolio can't just replace that if it's not invested in ability to do so. So don't just rely on 2 income sources because you don't know what other income sources are going to go away and when they're going to go away. So I like to plan on a worst case basis and then be aware of best case basis. What if markets don't do well? Are you still on track to retire? That's how I let my clients retire. Just because a graph shows an average return of 8, 9, 10% doesn't mean we're going to get that. So I like to be conservative in my planning. The third misconception is just ignoring inflation in general. Most people don't know that over 30 years, if you want to spend $100,000 a year right now, it's going to cost you $243,000 in 30 years to maintain the same purchasing power as that initial $100,000. So don't forget that. Don't forget that you're not just up against stock market ups and downs, you're up against inflation. And if you just keep too much in conservative assets, inflation is going to crush you and swallow you up. Now that example of $100,000 30 years ago being worth $243, that's assuming 3% inflation. What if I assume 4% inflation, of which it's been much higher than that recently, so it's really not unrealistic? Well, then you'd be looking at about $325,000, meaning it would cost $325,000 to maintain the same purchasing power of $100,000. Now you're seeing the relevance. Number 4, this is probably my favorite on the list and most important that my clients tell me, you're gonna love not having a job. Okay, the reality is a lot of you might love it. A lot of you are going to miss it. And you're going to go, what else do I do? My identity was tied with my job. I now don't know how I'm going to fulfill my time, and I don't have purpose. In my dopey jokes, which I have two quick stories for you. The first is I have a client that came to me. They loved the idea of golfing when they retired. So they started golfing. They called me 6 weeks later and said, Ari, what do I do? I'm like, what do you mean? They go, well, I hurt my back and now I can't golf all day. That's kind of what I put all my eggs in that basket. What do I do now? I'm like, I don't know. We got to explore this. So now we have because of this story, we have a retirement lifestyle coach on staff, and she helps to guide some of my clients. We also have a purpose finder that I have my clients walk through, which is an exercise you do on your own or with your partner to really create fulfillment in retirement. So you have a plan for what that's actually going to look like. I'm not just talking woo-woo energy stuff here, okay? This is real life retirement planning. Now, I could call myself a retirement lifestyle coach, but I'm not, okay? As most of you know, I'm obsessed with numbers. I want to make sure that they optimize your life. And number 5 is that your home is going to be the most important asset, okay? A lot of you know the phrase house rich, cash poor, and I've explained it on previous videos. That is my parents, okay? And they let me say this. They want me to say this. My parents are living in Malibu, and they have a very healthy net worth, and they are working in their 70s, okay? The reason for that, they have a home that they refuse to sell, and they don't have much in their retirement. And so all of a sudden, they're still working. Now, there's another term, and it's called qualified rich cash poor. And I made it up, which is the concept that you have saved and invested too well. And now your 401ks and IRAs, Roth IRAs, they have so much in them that you can't bridge the gap if you want to retire early. And if you want to retire early, you need to have a plan for what are you going to do before you can tap into those accounts. And in a perfect world, you don't tap into them for 5 years, even if you can. What does that mean? You can tap into IRAs at 59 and a half. And so I don't like when my clients tap into them until about age 62 or 63. And the reason for it is ideally there's a brokerage account we can live off of during those lower income years when you retire to implement effective tax planning. So that's my dream situation for clients, but I don't work with robots, I work with people. So when people come to me, I optimize what they have. But if you're listening to this and you're a few years out from retirement, really start thinking about that superhero, that brokerage account. And that ties into the home, which is the fact that your home is not your retirement strategy. It's not a bad backup plan. And if you're willing to downsize and that's part of your strategy to be able to create income, I love it. But if it's not, I do not want you to put all your eggs into the idea that I've got this home, that's my retirement plan. Now, if you have a rental property, it certainly could be, or if you're renting out a portion, but if it's just your home, it's not, okay? I just gave you that story of my parents so you can see why. Retirement is about cash flow, okay? Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Your home does not throw off any cash flow. In fact, it does the opposite, okay? It has maintenance and expenses and stuff going on, which is great. The point of life is not to just have the most amount of money, but at the same time, I want you to be wise. And my favorite last thing I'm gonna leave you with my bonus tip, that freedom from and the freedom to. Now that you have the freedom from bosses and deadlines and commuting and you name it, you have the freedom to create your own happiness. And for a lot of people, that freedom too is a whole lot harder. So if you want a custom strategy that brings together all of this, withdrawal strategy, tax planning, estate planning, insurance, investments, that's what we do. And we love helping people to do it. So come to Root Financial Partners and we'll help you create a custom strategy to retire early. Love you guys.